So let's go ahead and have a seat. We'll just go ahead and do this. And as always, you may sit however you like. Let's just kind of get our spines aligned. You know how to feel your way into that. Head over shoulders over hips. Just take a really deep breath in through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Just settle into your skin. Notice what you're feeling this morning. Every single day when we get up, it's a different day. We're not really sure what we're going to wake up to. And that's true not only in our bodies, but in our lives. So it's nice to just have an open, curious mindset. So be curious about how your body feels this morning. And then begin to deepen your breath. Ujjayi breathing is preferable. And then be curious about thought processes, emotions, and energy. And then we'll bring our palms together in front of our hearts and just take the opportunity to set an intention for our practice this morning, perhaps even for the rest of our day. And you might add to that to just stay open and curious, see what life just brings to you today. When you're clear about your intention, take a deep breath in. Big exhale. Release your arms down. Roll your shoulders back. And let's go straight into downward facing dog this morning. Let's go ahead and spread those fingers. Plant your palms. Stick your tailbone in the air. Like, feel free to pedal your feet and do any movements you need to, since I'm starting you right out in a ragdoll. Just kind of wake your body up in this movement. And then find a little stillness. Make sure your neck is relaxed. And just kind of connect to all the muscles around your shoulder blades. Slowly walk your feet forward. Keep your knees bent. Let's take a couple breaths in ragdoll. You know your neck has to be relaxed here. You're trying to lengthen your spine with every breath. And then inhale, reach the arms all the way up and overhead. Stretch up. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Inhale, reach your arms up, stretch up, spread your fingers, lift your rib cage. Just take a couple of breaths here, really kind of opening up the front side of the body. And then while you're still here with your arms up and overhead, see if you can access pulling the shoulder blades down the back. Slightly wrapping them forward. You might even consider trying to rotate your palms behind you. All of this is a little challenging, right? Especially if you keep your arms straight. And then on your next exhale, go ahead and fold forward, standing forward bend, fingertips to the mat. Try and keep them down as you look up and lengthen. And then back down. We're going to step back with our right foot. So we have a left foot forward lunge. Hold your lunge for a couple of breaths. And then plant your right hand. Let's take the left hand up towards the ceiling. And as I often do, I'm going to encourage you to kind of play with range of motion in your left shoulder and left arm. Just kind of see what's going on in there today. And then we'll go ahead and bring left hand down, plant your right knee on the mat, and extend your left leg. We're going straight into the hammy stretch. So you're lengthening the back of the right thigh, the back of the right calf. You're flexing your foot. You're also lengthening your spine here if you can. And then bend your left knee, bring the arms up and overhead, tuck the tailbone under, sink your hips forward. If you're finding that stretch on the front of your right hip, once you kind of get firmly established in that right hip opener, pull your shoulders down your back. Good. Bring both hands down to the mat, and I want you to step back to plank. And if you need to do this on forearms because of wrist issues, that's fine. Before we do anything else in our plank, and this works whether you're on your forearms or on your hands, your elbows are completely straight if you're on your hands, and it doesn't matter if you're on your forearms. Just push your upper back up towards the ceiling. And then drop it down. So when you're pressing up between the shoulder blades, you're creating more space between the back. And then when you allow your chest to come back down, arms stay straight, you're creating space in your chest. Do that a couple more times. Just kind of get used to that action. And then on your next exhale, lower down modified the first time. Knees, chest, and chin. Untuck your toes, bring your forearms forward, big toes touching, heels separated, pull your chest forward, let's lengthen out in Sphinx. And after you start feeling low back lengthening, pay attention to your shoulders again, pull them down the back strongly, and hold them down as you pull your chest forward. And then take your second downward facing dog. Press your tailbone up and back. Now in this dog, I want you to pay attention to your shoulders again. And you want to create that little bit of space between the shoulder blades like we had when we were doing our plank, but you create it a little differently. I want you to think about your shoulder blades wrapping around onto the side of your torso. Make sure your neck stays relaxed. And then take a big step forward with your right foot. Hold your lunge for a couple of breaths. We'll take the right hand up towards the ceiling and kind of play with that range of motion on your right arm. So you can just kind of see what's going on. It's always nice to, as I said earlier, be curious. Like, how's my right shoulder today? Good. Bring your right hand down, drop your left knee down and extend your right leg. Flex the ankle and toes. Pull your heart forward. Find that stretch on the back of your right thigh, right calf, and lengthen your spine. Bend your right knee. Bring the arms up and overhead. Tuck your tailbone under. Press your hips forward. So we're looking for the sensation in the front of the left hip. And then once we get that, we're going to see if we can maybe pull our shoulders down a little bit. Good. Bring your hands down to the mat. Step forward to a standing forward bend. Inhale. Reach your arms all the way up and overhead. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up halfway. And then exhale, back down. This time we're going to step back with our left foot. And so just hold your lunge for a moment. If you feel like you can, extend your right leg. keeping your hands where they're at and pulling the shoulders down the back as you pull your chest forward. Now, if the right leg doesn't go all the way straight, that's fine. If you need to adjust the hands a little bit, that's fine. But once you get where you're going in your hamstring stretch, try and pull those shoulders down the back. Take one more breath here. And then we're going to bend the right knee and bring the arms up and overhead and come on up into a high lunge. Find a little bit of opening sensation on the front of your left hip. Now this time, we're going to bring our hands behind our back and interlace the fingers. And all I want you to do is keep your hands on your bum. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, but pull them down the back. It's kind of like you're trying to reach your hands below your tailbone. Take one more breath here. Release the arms back up and overhead. Shoulders come down the back. And then take your hands to the mat. Step yourself back to plank. Push up between the shoulder blades. Push your body forward slightly. Exhale, lower down. You maintain space between the shoulder blades. Then you inhale into your upward facing dog, and you exhale into your downward facing dog. Please remember, you can modify your vinyasas however you need to. Pay attention to wrists and shoulders and all that stuff. When you get to your down dog, press your hips as far back as you can and still create space between the shoulder blades. Big step forward with your left foot. So ideally your hands are on either side of your left foot. If you can, you look forward and start to straighten your left leg. And try and keep shoulders down the back. Try and keep your back lengthening. Just do what your body will allow. And then we're going to bend the left knee. Bring the arms up and overhead. Remember, you can modify and drop your back knee if you need to. Once you find your high lunge, bring your hands behind your back. Interlace the fingers, but don't raise the arms. Just slide your hands farther down your backside. So your shoulder blades are actually squeezing together, but they're still lowering down. Take one more breath here. Raise the arms up and overhead again. And then hands come down and we step forward to a standing forward bend. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, back down. So you're going to step back with your right foot. You have a left foot forward lunge, but then spin your right heel flat and come up into warrior one. So it's a left foot forward, warrior one. Adjust your hips if you need to. And then adjust your shoulders. Take a couple of breaths. Interlace your fingers behind your back again. Squeezing shoulder blades together. This time we're going to fold forward into humble warrior. Take your left shoulder to your left thigh. Relax your neck. Reach the arms up this time. Now you're feeling some stretch around the front of the shoulders, maybe even a little bit on the chest. Come on up from that. Left knee stays bent. Fingers stay interlaced. We're going to lift off into a warrior three variation. Right leg extends out into the air behind you if you can. Try and put your right foot back down where it came from. Release the hands. Warrior one. Hands to the mat. Step back to plank. Flow through your vinyasa. When you get to your down dog, keep playing with the idea of broadening the shoulders, relaxing the neck, and reaching the tailbone as high as possible. Big step forward with your right foot. We're going to go ahead and spin the left heel flat. Adjust your feet if you need to. Come up into your warrior one with your right foot forward. And then interlace your fingers behind your back again. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. This time you lift the arms a little bit, and we'll fold forward, humble warrior, right shoulder to right thigh. Relax your neck. Reach those arms up towards the ceiling if you can. Come back up. And we lift off for warrior three here. Left leg extends behind you if you can. If possible, we'll just put your left foot back down where you got it. Release the arms up, warrior one. Bring your hands down, step back to plank, take another vinyasa. Being really mindful of your shoulders, by the way, throughout this entire vinyasa process. Now, from this downward facing dog, we're gonna go ahead and drop down to the knees. And we're gonna take our first dolphin. And so you guys all know the drill on this. The forearms come down. You reach around and actually grab your upper arms by your armpits. Don't make the mistake of grabbing your elbows. Your elbows are gonna actually be pretty stinking close together right here. You're gonna keep them there. And then bring the forearms parallel. Now, it depends on your serratus strength. I suggest on this first dolphin, even I'm going to do this, to go ahead and interlace the fingers. We'll be doing dolphin again, and we'll do it with our palms flat. But for now, as your warm-up dolphin, go ahead and interlace your fingers. Do that little thing that we did in plank. You push up between the shoulder blades, right? Puff up your upper back, and then relax your neck and let your head hang. Now, exactly where your head is right now is where it needs to remain. Once you take your knees off the floor, don't look between your elbows, don't let your head hit the floor, turn your toes under, take the knees up. Neck is still totally relaxed, head is off the floor. Walk your feet forward if you can, and then push your tailbone up and back. Take a couple of deep, slow breaths. If you feel like you can, walk your feet forward one more step. Tailbone reaches up and back. Neck is totally relaxed. Head is off the ground. Drop back down to your knees. Backside to heels, hands palms up by your feet. Rounded back child's pose. Let your shoulders relax. Come up from your child's pose. Take your hands all the way out to the edges of the mat. So I would love for you to have your middle finger right at the edge of the mat. And it's perfectly parallel to the edge of the mat. The other fingers and thumbs are spread. So we're going to do a turbo dog. Your hands need to be this wide. But before you do anything else, kind of bend your elbows a little bit and then squeeze them together and notice what happens in your upper back. And then look at your arms, because what's gonna probably happen is when I ask you to lift up, your elbows are gonna try and go the other way. They're gonna try and wing out. I want you to squeeze them together. If you look down, your elbows are bent. They are closer together than your hands are. And don't rotate your hands. All right. And even though the elbows are bent, they're not on the ground. Okay, that's your setup. Here we go. Straighten your arms, turn your toes under. Push your tailbone up and back like just a really wide down dog, right? From here, you're going to start to bend the elbows, reaching down towards the mat, but squeeze them together. Keep pushing your tailbone up and back. Keep squeezing your elbows together. Don't forget to breathe. Drop down to your knees and take a breath. We're going to do one more turbo dog. It's not over. Keep your hands nice and wide. Toes turn under, tailbone reaches up and back. Elbows start to bend, like they're dropping towards the mat, but they're squeezing together really strongly. Breathe. And straighten the arms, walk forward to a standing forward bend. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, palms together in front of your heart. Take a moment, let your arms hang by your side. Roll your shoulders back. You earned that. That's some hard work this morning. So yes, today is a shoulder emphasis day, but not that nice, yummy, gentle one that we did last week. This is like getting them strong, right? So I'm sure you guys remember hearing me say it. Strong muscles are flexible muscles. The stronger you are, the more mobility you have. So strengthening around our shoulder joints is a really worthy thing to do. Now, what we're going to do from here is be moving into a balancing Dolphin series. So I'm just going to remind you to take care of yourselves, but please try it. It should be good for everybody. So let's inhale, reach the arms up, and as you exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, back down. You can either walk or jump back and flow through a vinyasa. Just take a moment in your normal down dog, but still be mindful of shoulders. And then drop down to your knees. Come onto your forearms. Measure. Don't ever just eyeball this. Every time you go into Dolphin, you literally wrap your hands around your upper arms. Seriously, your elbows are probably 2 or 3 inches apart. It's perfect. This time, go ahead and spread your fingers and have your forearms parallel. So if you look down, your middle finger makes a perfectly straight line with your forearm. All right, so that's where we're at with this. Push up between the shoulder blades, relax your neck, turn your toes under, push your tailbone up and back. Walk your feet forward 1 step, make sure your neck is relaxed. First thing you're gonna do, slightly shift your weight to your left forearm. Take your right arm up in the air. If you can, you're gonna put it at the small of your back. Take 1 more breath. Right forearm comes back down, left forearm off the ground, maybe into the small of the back. If you can, both forearms back down, keep them parallel. Walk your feet forward, push your tailbone up and back. Drop to your knees, take a child's pose with your hands all the way back by your feet, palms up. Let the shoulders relax here. And then come back onto your hands and knees. Not quite done with our dolphins. It's a lot, I know, but it'll make you stronger. So, depending upon how well you did with that and how your shoulders handled it, you may continue to keep forearms parallel, or you can go back to interlacing your fingers because this time we'll be lifting a leg. So, double check, grab your upper arms, don't just wing it. It's very important that you always measure. And then either palms flat, forearms parallel, or interlace fingers, push up between the shoulder blades. Turn your toes under, push your tailbone up and back, walk your feet forward. Take a breath, make sure your neck is relaxed. Raise your right leg up. Put your right foot back down. Raise your left leg up. Head is still off the ground, neck is relaxed. The left foot comes back down. See if you can walk your feet forward. Push your tailbone up and back. Breathe. And drop to your knees. Take that child's pose with your hands all the way back by your feet, palms up. From here, step into plank. Flow through a vinyasa. Notice how your shoulders are feeling in your down dog. Do you have more awareness around the shoulder blades? Remember, we're kind of practicing some curiosity this morning. And then you can either walk or jump your feet forward to a standing forward bend. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, palms together. So let's turn sideways on the mat. You're going to take a moderate step out, so not super wide. You're going to go ahead and let your toes wing out today. So we're just going to kind of stretch out the upper back. Now, we've been doing a lot of stuff around the shoulder blades. This is kind of unwinding some of the stuff we've done, but we're not going to neglect our hips and lower body today. And since we're working on strength, we're going to do a power pose. So one of the variations on goddess pose is a standing pose, and it's a very powerful pose. So the first thing we're going to do is bring our arms out in front of us. Your right arm is going to be on bottom, your left arm is on top. It's the hand position for eagle, Uttanasana. Fingers point straight up. Pull your shoulders down and push your elbows forward. Keep them there, so you should be feeling a stretch between your shoulder blades. Now, maintain a vertical spine. Start to drop your tailbone, but press your knees out, out, out towards the little toe. Take 2 big breaths here. Now make one big slow circle in a clockwise direction. And one big slow circle in a counterclockwise direction. Unwind your hands, interlace your fingers, palms up. Stretch up, drop your tailbone down a little more, press your knees out, straighten your legs, relax your arms, roll your shoulders back. Arms are in front of you again. This time, left arm is on bottom, right arm is on top. Wrap the palms if you can. Shoulders down, elbows up, pushing forward. Find the stretch. Stay vertical, bend your knees, press your knees out towards your baby toes. Take a couple of breaths. One big slow circle clockwise. One big slow circle counterclockwise. Interlace the fingers, palms up, tailbone down. Straighten your legs, relax the arms, shoulders back. Just let the heels move out now. So you'll actually be in a slightly wider stance and your feet are parallel. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Hinge at your hips. Fold forward. Relax your neck. And then reach those arms up and overhead. Take a few breaths here. Good, release your arms down and just toe heel your feet all the way in. Big inhale, reach the arms up and overhead, and as you exhale, come back to the front of the mat, feet together, palms together. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Look up halfway. And back down. Take it back to plank to take your final vinyasa. Be mindful of your shoulders and your breath through each part of the movement. Really, really press your tailbone back and sink your heels down. And also, again, use the muscles around each shoulder blade to keep them separated in your down dog. And when you're ready, you can either walk or jump forward. Have a seat with your legs extended. And we'll take a moment to check in Dandasana. So whether you have your hands behind you to help with that straight spine or you have your hands on your thighs, either one is fine. Make sure your spine is aligned and your head is balanced and your legs are active. Just take a moment and check in. Notice how your shoulders are feeling. Maybe they're fatigued, maybe they're warm, but they should also be feeling very powerful right now. So let's keep right leg straight. Bring your left foot to the inside of your right thigh. Lean out over your right leg. Just take a few breaths. Once you get the appropriate hamstring sensation, make sure your shoulders are down the back. And then from here, wherever your left hand is, keep it there, but slide it to the outside edge. So if your left hand is on your foot, you're grabbing the outside of the right foot. If it's on the calf, you're grabbing the outside of the right calf. Your right hand is going to come right beside your right hip. You must bend your left elbow. So the first thing you're doing is pulling yourself towards your right foot, but by bending the elbow, not by using serratus. You got to engage that left bicep. Then you're going to keep that tension in your left bicep as you press with your right hand and look over your right shoulder. Now at this point, you fine tune. How much do you pull? How much do you twist? You should eventually wind up with sensation behind your right shoulder blade. And then I want you to take extra deep breaths into that. Good. Come on up from that. Roll the shoulders back. Pick your left knee up. And you can either hug your left knee with your right arm, bringing left hand behind you, or you can take your right elbow outside, left knee or thigh, twist to the left, get a nice deep twist. Keep your legs just like they are. Rotate back around to the front and lean out over your right leg with your left knee pointing up towards the ceiling. Your left shoulder is inside of it. Be mindful of your shoulders. This may or may not work for you today. We're going to give it a shot because your shoulders should be pretty open right now. Your left arm, if you're leaning far enough forward, your left arm is actually kind of in front of your left shin. So you just reach your left hand back behind you, kind of like you're trying to touch the left side of your waist. Maybe you can come up and interlace fingers and you've caught your left shin. So if your fingers are interlaced behind your back, look over your right shoulder. Take a couple breaths. If your fingers are interlaced, keep them. Come back towards the center. Lean forward. And then release the arms. Extend your left leg out. Roll your shoulders back. And then keep left leg straight. Bring right foot to the inside of the left thigh. And just lean out over that left leg. And once you get your hamstring stretch, make sure those shoulders are down the back. Wherever your right hand is, it's the appropriate level for it to stay, but we're going to slide it to the outside of the left whatever. So you can either grab the outside of your left foot, your left calf, right elbow bends. It's so important, you guys. Don't just pull with your shoulder joint. Bend your right elbow. Engage your right bicep. Left hand by your hip. And so as you're pulling with your right bicep, you're pushing with your left hand to look over your left shoulder. And then you kind of fine tune it. How much more do you need to pull or twist to get sensation behind your right shoulder blade? Then you breathe deeply. Come on up from that. Just pick your right knee up. Bring your right hand behind you and either hug the right knee or bring your left elbow outside of it. Get a nice deep twist here. And then rotate back around. Keep your legs just like they are. Right arm comes inside that right leg and you're leaning out over your left leg. So your right knee is outside your torso, but you still have it pointing up towards the ceiling. If you can, your right arm reaches in front of the right shin and reaches back, like you're trying to touch the right side of your waist. Left arm reaches around behind. So maybe you clasp fingers, and if not, that's okay. If you do, lift your chest and look over your left shoulder. If your fingers are still clasped, keep them like that. Return to the center and lean out over your left leg. And then release. Extend your right leg. Roll your shoulders back. Good. And then just make sure you're on your sit bones. Be really mindful this morning. We're going to do the rounded back forward bend so that you feel this in your upper back. You're going to feel it down the sides of the neck and in the upper back. So if you do have neck issues, please be very gentle with yourself. First, you start with Jalandhara Bandha, which is tucking your chin into your throat. So you're trying to actually put your chin in that little notch in your collarbone. You keep it there, and you slowly start to spiral inward. It's kind of like you're trying to put the very top of your head on your thighs. Find the appropriate level of stretch, and then take 3 extra deep breaths here. Slowly unwind yourself. Roll your shoulders back. Good. And then just to kind of counterbalance all that before we get onto our backs, we're all going to do modified fish. No full fish today. Tuck your fingertips underneath your backside slightly. Elbows are close together. Lean back on your forearms. Lift your heart really strongly up towards the ceiling. And if it feels okay, just let your head relax back. This is it. 3 breaths here. And then you can just untuck your hands, roll onto your back, hug your knees in, and rock side to side. We're going to keep the right knee hugged in and extend the left leg all the way out of the ground. So first you're going to give your right knee a good squeeze. You're trying to really pull it in towards your chest. Interlace your fingers though as you hang on to your right knee or shin. Keep your fingers interlaced and start to press the knee, the right knee, like you're trying to reach it towards your left foot. So what happens is your arms straighten and you start to feel your torso lift. You stop at the point right before your head would come up. Like you don't want your head off the mat. You want your head supported, but your upper back, excuse me, your shoulders and your neck are off the mat. And you're going to take a couple of deep breaths. On your next exhale, squeeze that right knee back in. You'll feel your neck and your upper back touch the floor again. And then if you can, we're going to actually hook the toes of the right foot inside the left knee or thigh. Use your left hand to pull yourself all the way over to the left. And then let your right arm open out to the right. So I know a couple of you guys are so flexible that your right knee is touching the ground and your right hand is touching the ground on the other side. But we're trying to at least keep the right shoulder blade up so that we can get a little bit of chest stretch. Some of us have no problem, excuse me, because our shoulders are a little tighter. So if you're like me and your right arm is not actually in the air, play with finding the perfect angle for the best stretch, and then just breathe deeply. On your next inhale, come on up. Excuse me. Hug your right knee in one more time. You can bring your left knee up to meet it. I apologize. Something is in my throat. And rock side to side. And then keep your left knee hugged in. Extend your right leg all the way out on the ground. And so first, we're just hugging the knee in tightly to the chest. You can go ahead and interlace your fingers now. And then begin to press your left knee away from your torso. That means your arms start to straighten. And the upper back and the neck start to lift, but you stop before your head leaves the floor. So the back of your head, probably the upper part of the back of your head, is still supported by the floor. We don't want 8 or so pounds hanging off the back of our neck. So our head is supported, but the neck and the upper back are up. Just breathe deeply. And then on your next exhale, hug that left knee back in. Hook the toes of the left foot inside your right ear thigh. Use your right hand to actually pull your left knee all the way over to the floor on the right side of your body. Then let your left arm open back out. So again, it depends on your level of flexibility. Some of you guys are going to have everything on the floor. Just do your best to find some sensation in the left side of your chest. Those of us that have a little more tension in the shoulders and the left arm is up, then we're going to kind of play with the angle and try and find where the most beneficial position is for our left arm to be. And then we just breathe. On your next inhale, come on back up, and as you exhale, hug your left knee in. Go ahead and bring right knee up to meet it and rock side to side. So I want you to just feel into your body, again, using that curiosity. And I'm going to give you a choice of one or the other inversion today. It's based on your ability, and it's also based on how your body feels, right? So, we've been opening up upper torso along with the shoulders. My 2 suggestions are either plow pose, halasana, with the legs all the way up and overhead. That will feel just like that really rounded, seated forward bend that we did. Or you can do bridge pose and try and get your shoulders to kind of squeeze together up underneath you to stretch the front part of the shoulders like we did when we had our fingers interlaced. So whichever one of those feels like a better idea for your body this morning, not your head. What does your body want? Does it want bridge or does it want plow? You choose, and then off you go. Two more breaths, whatever pose you're in. And then you can slowly find your way out of that. Hug your knees in. Grab the outside edges of your feet. Happy baby. Again, curiosity. What happens if I move this way or straighten this or bend that? We just get curious. Take a few more breaths, doing any other movements you need. And then when you're ready, go ahead and bring your feet down to the mat. Dropping the knees open with the soles of the feet together. We'll do that quick spine lengthener. It's always a good idea. So on your next inhale, just press your low back into the mat. So you're removing the curve that naturally happens in your spine. On your next exhale, you're allowing that curve to come back. One more time. Inhale, flatten that low back. And exhale, release it and begin to extend your legs. Find Shavasana today. So even though we do it every practice, every day is a different day. Maybe today your feet want to be closer together. Maybe today they want to be farther apart. Your hands should always be below your shoulders, preferably with your palms facing up. But maybe they're farther out to the sides today, or maybe they're right by your sides today. Feel into it, and then gently, barely lift your head, tuck your chin in and put it back down. Now you have length in the neck. Your shoulders should not be by your ears. Your jaw softens. Your forehead smooths out. Your eyes are gently closed. And you take a huge inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. And just settle in to this sweet, sweet reward of Shavasana that is also the most important part of your practice. Everything always leads us to here. It's why we always have Shavasana. This is why we do the practice, not because we get to just lie still on our back, but because this is the fruit of our practice. It allows us to maintain stillness, to keep our awareness in the present moment, to truly be where we're supposed to be, how we're supposed to be, absorbing the benefits of the practice. So you've been working a lot with the strengthening of the shoulders. I'm going to encourage you now to be curious about the energetics of your shoulders right now. I want you to think about metaphorically, what are you carrying that you don't need to carry? So what are you loading up your shoulders with that you really don't need to? You know, we use the term baggage in English. You could think of it as baggage. Are you carrying baggage that you don't need to? Are you maybe even carrying somebody else's baggage? Put that down. Is there anything that you can offer up to remove? Is there anything that you can just eliminate completely, throw away? Notice the things that quote unquote weigh you down. If you feel like you carry the weight of the world on your shoulders, If you feel weighed down by certain responsibilities or obligations, I want you to look at all of these things energetically. They affect our shoulders. That is where we carry stuff. We literally carry our stress there. And as you employ that beautiful sense of curiosity about what you're energetically carrying, I want you to give yourself permission to put it all down. If there's anything that's absolutely crucial to your life, you can pick it back up after practice, but I want you to feel what it feels like to shed it all. Put it all down. Let it all go. As you're putting things down or throwing them off your shoulders, I want you to notice how that feels and continue paying attention to that. But notice how it feels physically. Do your shoulders feel more relaxed? Do you feel lighter? Mentally, maybe you feel clearer or calmer. And emotionally, do you feel lighter? Emotionally, do you feel freer? From an energetic perspective, do you feel more alive? And just begin to feel back into your body on the mat. Notice how your whole practice has made you feel. Shavasana is an important part of it. But notice the entire practice. How does it make you feel? And how has it made you feel to release energetically some stuff that might not even be yours? Start to feel into this lightened load of a body that you're inhabiting. Move your fingers and toes. Maybe even move the shoulders and arms a little bit. Take a really big inhale and just stretch. And exhale and relax. And do it again if you need to. Just kind of be curious. What changed, if anything? When you're ready, and please take your time with it, hug the knees into your chest. I actually want you to hug them in. Give yourself a hug. Rock side to side if you feel like you want to. And then just roll over onto your right side. You're going to be in the fetal position. I want you to rest there for a moment. It's like you're being birthed anew without all that junk on your shoulders. So when you feel ready, use your left hand in front of your chest and press up to sitting. And as you come to sitting, just find your straight aligned spine. We're just going to be doing kind of an expanding breath. So this is just going to be a nice, slow, mindful Ujjayi breath. But we're going to signal to our body and to our energetic body and to the universe around us that we're willing to let go of all the junk that's not ours. So what I'd like you to do is just let your shoulders be relaxed. Your elbows are bent, so your hands are kind of in front of you like you're holding something in front of you. Except we're not going to keep holding it. What I want you to do is as you do a nice, slow, deep inhale, just let your hands open out. As you exhale, they can come in slightly, but not a lot. So this symbolizes our willingness to let go, right? We're letting go of all this stuff. So for a couple of breaths, just let those hands keep opening out until you feel like you've really let go. And now with the hands nice and wide, feel how open you are right here, right now. Feel how you've created space and freedom. And keep your arms open wide like they are, welcoming it in. So now we're welcoming in space. We're welcoming in freedom. We're welcoming in our relaxed shoulders and our lack of a heavy load to carry. Welcome that in. Keep breathing these slow, deep, beautiful Ujjayi breaths as you bring those palms together in front of your heart. And then just let your breathing soften. And take one more opportunity during practice to be curious. How does your body feel right now? How does your mind feel? What are your emotions like? How's your energy? And then let's take a moment in gratitude. Gratitude that we have the strength to let go. Gratitude that we can welcome in space and freedom. Gratitude that we have this amazing practice that helps us do that. Take one more really deep breath into your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Palms to the forehead, reminding us to just pay attention, to be present. Palms to the lips, reminding us to speak our truth. Palms to the heart, reminding us to keep our hearts open, to always be kind and compassionate and patient, and to include ourselves in that. As always, I'm so grateful to have you guys join me in the Zoom room. I hope it's the beginning of a beautiful week. Namaste.